disobeying God. They got hard. It says that. And he told them that to go to this land. Sent 12 spies out. They came back. They made a report. And what they said, oh, too many, we can't go there. No, we can't go there. But who told them? God told Moses to send the scouts out and get the report of the promised land. This was the land that was promised to Abraham. When Abraham left the scene, it was promised to Joshua, the same promised land. So what did they thought? They probably thought like some of us. Well, all we got to do is just walk on in the land. Because God had already promised to them. Isn't that it? That's us. Isn't that us? Oh, we want everybody to just hand stuff to us. Give it to us. All we got to do is get on out of Egypt. Because God already got this land to us. We know he had promised this land for us, so all we got to do is go there. But that wasn't it. God said you got to do something to get that land. He said work. So what did that tell me? Being lazy will get you nowhere. God wants somebody that's going to do what? Work. Right now. Once they get there, they got to do something. But the other thing about it, they didn't believe what God told them. Moses told God to tell them. So what happened? That whole generation died. The whole generation. It says from 20 years on. Think about that. From 20 years on, that whole generation was wiped out. Because of what? Disobedience. They didn't want to obey God. And he told them what? I tell you what, since you don't obey me, you're going to stay in this wilderness how many years? 40 years. They stayed there 40 years. And they could have did, I think it says 8 days, but they stayed 40 years. Why? Because they were disobedient to the Lord. So that tells us, by disobedience to the Lord, there's a consequence. And they paid this consequence. The whole generation was getting ready to go to the promised land, but they disobeyed God. And that's what happened. Now, if we begin this lesson, let's begin this lesson. And let's what Moses said, Rita.
Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them and keep and do them.
Look what he tells them. He tells them to hear. So when you think about that, hear and listen. I want you to hear what I'm saying. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. So what's the difference? Well, it's simple. When you hear with your feet. When you listen with your heart. So he tells them, I want you to do what? I want you to both to hear me, and I want you to listen. Now, a lot of times, we don't listen to what people say. Have you noticed that? I already got my conclusion before you can finish. Wait a minute, let me say it first. And then you listen, but we miss that part of listening. We don't do that. We got to listen and hear. He tells, I want you to hear me. This is the new generation telling you, because look what happened to your ancestors. All of them got wiped out. So right now, I want you to hear what I'm saying. This is Moses telling this new generation, hear me. Hear me good now. Listen what I'm telling you from this. And now I want you to listen. I want you to keep them. Now, how can I keep them? Only way I can keep them is just when they in my heart. When you got something in your heart, you're going to keep it there. So I want you to hear what I'm saying, listen what I'm saying, and I want you to keep it in your heart. Then we said keep it in your heart. The next verse, read it. What it tells us?
The Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb.
Read the next one.
The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day.
Here we go. He telling them what the Lord made with Abraham. That's first. He didn't make this covenant with you. He's the one he made with you right here. Because what happened to that generation? They got wiped out. I'm making this covenant with you in my heart. Now, when we begin to read what it said, the covenant he made with them, it says, Exodus 19:8. This is what it said. And all the people answered together and said, I know the Lord has spoken with thee. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. Now, this was not the Ten Commandments. Before he got to the Ten Commandments, this was the covenant they made with the Lord. Lord, if you just get us there, we're going to do what you say. Now, how long did that last? Not long. Just like we do today. Not long. Lord, if you just take this diabetes from me, I serve you the rest of my life. How long did that last? Till the diabetes. Lord, if you just remove this high blood pressure, I serve you the rest of my life. How long will that last? Until you get better. Lord, if you just allow me to be able to come to church, I be at church every Sunday morning. How long will that last? One Sunday morning, two Sunday morning, and it's done. It's gone again. You know how we make those promises to the Lord? But what I like about that, Lord had never made a promise. But we make all them kind of promises. Lord, Dickon, so we don't keep up. If you send me this husband, he and I stay together for the rest of our life. I see some head shaking. How long will that last? Next week he said, and then it lasts when the time gets tough. What happened? The tough get rough. So that's what happened right there. You know, we make all these promises. They make the same promise. Lord, if you just take us to Egypt, Lord, if you just give us this mountain, look what happened. Every time they asked for something, the Lord gave it to them. And what did they do? They kept on asking, and they kept on doing the same thing over and over. What do we do today? We keep on asking. We keep on doing the same thing Deacon said over and over. So that means that this is not something that just happened. It happened back then. They did it. We're still doing the same thing. Nothing changed. All we're doing is a different generation. We're doing the same thing. We keep begging God. When God gives us what we want, we turn our back. The time gets tough again, what we do? We go back to God again. Time gets tough, go back to God. Look how it is. But I'm so glad that God is a forgiving God. He forgives you that. But we just keep on begging God. We never do but thank God. We keep on begging God. Every time we pray, instead of thanking God, we always begging God. That's what happened here. They just keep on and telling God, oh Lord, just give us cause that. This is where we want to be. And then there's a question that's followed there. The question says, what are the specific and obvious ways that believers can protect justice through obedience to God's word? How can we, as believers, protect justice? By being fair. Fair is the word. When you being fair, if it's obedience, that's going to be obedience to God's word. That means that's the justice right there. How do you protect that? By being fair to who? Not just Deacon Lyon, not just the deacon, not just the preacher. Being fair to who? Everybody. That's how you protect justice, by being fair. The word means fairness. Can I be fair? Yes. How can I be fair? Through Christ. And who I got to have in me to be fair? I got to have God in me. If there's no God in you, there's no fairness in you. You got to have God in you in order to be fair. Fairness comes from God. We can't do it, but we get it through God gives us to be fair. If you notice, we said at the beginning, if you go to some of these churches, they know you, they're going to be lying on you. Look at the rich folks, how they got stuff. Is that fair? That's not fair. But in God's eyesight, he was fair to everybody, even though the Israelites was the people. But the other nations, if they had came to him, God is a just God. But the problem is, we don't want to be fair. We want to be fair to our pick and choose. Nowhere says that fairness and justice mean to be right with God. In order for me to be right with God, I got to be right first myself in order to help somebody else to be fair. I see Miss Tracy got a hand. Miss Tracy. Mm-hmm.
So we don't let it came in our she was helping. And so she was able to help him before he didn't do. So we kept trying to take her. And she said, you don't have to pay me, I don't mind. And I tried to explain to them, that's why it's important for us to be right about ourselves. Because we are.
That's right.
Old people, young people.
That's right.
I said, there's one system that always talks about black and white. God created us all. And we need the young people. They lack of babies that we do.
That's right.
We lack of babies today.
Mm-hmm.
Together we come together. I said,
that's right. That's right. We got to see things as a Christian like God will see things. And seeing things God way means to be just what he said, being fair. Every time somebody do something for you, that don't mean they don't pay you. But some of us, if I do something for you, I want you to pay me. That's not what being fair. Being God-like. don't mean that every time greasing your hand. That's not been fair. If you can help somebody, one of my major things I would ask Lord, if I can help somebody along the way, what that mean? Don't let my living be in vain. Isn't that something? If you can just help somebody along this way, don't let your living be in vain. Every time, don't always ask for pay. Because my payday would be when I get to heaven and I dig and say, get my wings and wear my golden shoes. That's going to be the greatest payday you can get. So down here, you don't have to get paid for everything you do. But some people, everything they do, they want you to pay them. A lot of times, we take our neighbors to this place. We have gas in my car, so why should I charge them? They want us to keep the money. That's not God's way. Now, if I didn't have any gas, we actually take, give me some gas. But if I got it in my car, why can't I just be neighbors? That's good. But how many people do that? A lot of folks, every time you get in their car, they want their money. Am I right or wrong? So if we are a Christian and being Christ-like, what does that mean? We have to be humble, and also Christ-like means to be a what? Serve. Serve. That doesn't mean somebody pay you to serve. Serve is what it says. I am a servant of the Lord. Look at that. So I like that illustration. Anybody else got something to say on that question? If not, here we go for the second one. First, we had the formal call. Now we got the formal call to commit. That's a big one right there. Commit. What does that word commitment mean? Commitment means to do. To do what you actually do. Keep God's word. I like it. Anybody else know when we say commitment? Obedience to something? Keeping it? That's what it says, commitment. It still says a commitment. Look what it says. The next one, a call. I like how they keep using the word call. Call to commitment. It says, in order to do that, we got to remember what it says right here. The new rules has already been there. He's not asking them to change anything. What is he telling them? Read on the person. I'll read those two together.
And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
Look at what Moses said. Now he's talking to this new generation right here. All the old is already gone. So he telling them right now, what you tell them to do? Israel, I want you to do what the Lord requires of thee. First thing he said, I want you what? Fear him. How do you fear God? You fear God by respecting him. You respect God. That's the first fear you talking about God. Respect God. The problem that we have today with our folks, they don't fear God. That means if you don't fear God, you don't respect God. Let me go back in time. Do you remember some of us old folks when it was light? What would our family do? I would take a sheet and put on the mirror. Did you ever do that? They were saying because that mirror would draw light. But it did not know what they fear God. And they would tell you, when God working, what you need to do? Sit down and be quiet. If you didn't be quiet, when God got to work, they were going to work on you. Because they said, you need to fear God. Because God is what? God is working. I know some of us came up that way to parents like that. So that's to fear God. But that means reference to God. I need to respect God. Respecting God, does that mean that I'm out here calling people all kind of names? That's Satan said. Does it mean I'm out here running all around town with women? No. I need to fear God. When I fear God, you got to read what the commandments tell us to do. Does that mean that I'm out here doing everything I got no business? That's not fearing God. If God, when you fear God, you're going to give reference to him. You're going to respect him. Let's look. If I fear my parents, am I going to do anything that my parents say not to do? That's respect. So if I can respect my parents, can't I respect the one and the only one who the creator and made?
Yeah.
Why don't we respect him?
Right.
But we give him less respect than anybody. I said we, because we talk about the Christian folks, and we are the ones supposed to set an example. That's what it said when you said fear God, you got to give him their respect and give him their obedience. And then you honor God. The next thing said, she read about it, says, walk in his ways. How do I walk in God's ways? Being true. How do I walk in God's ways? By love. What did God do? He loved everybody. How do you know? That what John said, 3:16, preach always said. What did you do? How do you? What you say? God so loved the world that he gave his what? Only begotten son. Now tell me if that's not love right there. So he said, walk in his ways. How do I walk in his ways? By love. This thing is all about love. I'm not talking about that fake love. You know I love you right now when you give me that dollar. But if you don't give me that dollar tomorrow, I hate you to death. What kind of love is that? That's that fake love. They want you to have that sacrificial love. That's what love is all about. Love, we say, hurts. How does it hurt? Because when somebody tells you the truth, that hurts you. That's love. If I let you know that both of us are in part, right there, and I tell you what's right. No. But if I'm living the life that God expects me to do, and I can tell you, say, hey, brother, you need to go back home to your wife. Is that love? That's love right there. Because I'm telling you what's right. Love don't mean, hey, brother, I got another side chick you want. You know, that's the kind of love that some of us want. I want you to tell me the truth. Because love is nothing but the truth. Because how you know that? God, he loves so much that he gave what? His only begotten son. Did he give it? Yeah. Is that love? That's the kind of love we got to have. That's that love. The next thing, I hate it, Rick, I like it. The next thing it says, love him. Love who? You got to love God. If I love God, everything else will come in line. That means I'm going to love you. I'm going to love my wife. I'm going to love everybody. Because love him, not me. Love who? Him. I like that. Because when you love him, you can love me. I can love you, but you first got to love him. That means loving him is doing what God says, keeping his commandments. That's all you got to do. When you keep God's commandments and do what God says, that's love him right there. What better love do you have than the love of God? Now tell me, is anything better? Deacon said there's none better than loving God. If it is, I want to know where and when. And how can I get some of it is better than God? Because he's the only one that made us, so why can't I love him? And the next one she said, it says, serve him. How do I serve Lord? How do I serve God? By serving your fellow man. You remember what it said, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. Who was he talking about? He was talking about us. When he says, when I was in prison, you come to see me. Who was he talking about? He talking about us. He wasn't talking about him. You know, we get that thing all wrong. That's what he said. When you want to serve him, that's how you serve God, through your fellow man. If you see your neighbor in trouble, in need, what are you supposed to do? Help that person. That's how we serve him. God has it already. But to serve him, we got to serve our fellow man. That's how we serve God when it says serve him. And that next one come up there. How we get through serving him? It says obey him. Why not? Obey him. Look at it, keep talking about him. I like it. What Moses was telling them, these are the things that you got to do. When you got to do them? When you get to the promised land. Because over in this promised land, we got people over there worship out of God. So what I don't want you to do what they're doing. I want you to do these commandments right here. Because they already got their God, they worship them. He letting them know. This is Moses' last assignment. The last time. Because Moses is not going to be able to make it. So he giving them the last, I say, instruction. You know, instruction is good. When you want to go somewhere, you need to have your direction. So when you need something, you need to give me the instruction. If I want you to work this problem, I need to give you this instruction how to work this problem. You know, instruction. So he's telling them, here's your last instruction. This is what you need to do when you get over to the promised land. But what happened? Some of those folks, they still do just like you. I hear everything you say, Moses. I'm gonna listen to what you're saying, Moses, but I'm not gonna do what you say. All I want to do is just get there. Have you ever known? I just want to get there. Once I get there, I'm gonna do my own thing. You know how people say that. I just need to get there and do my own thing. But you can't do your own thing and serve him. In order to serve him, you got to do his thing. And what his thing is service. And what it said, look, who should I love? Love him first, and then I love my neighbor. When I do that, everything else can fall in line. You don't have to worry about those 630 things he said. When Jesus came, he said, this is the only thing you need to do. If you keep those two, just those two commandments, that's going to cover everything else you need to do. Adultery, that's cover him. Because I'm going to love who? God. Is adultery in God? No. What is it saying? Fornication? Is that in God? No. So you don't have to remember all the commandments. Killing, is that in God? No. Stealing, is that in God? No. So all you got to do is love who? Love him. When you love him, you got everything covered. So if I love him, that means I'm not going to steal from my neighbor. If I love him, I'm not going to cheat on my wife. If I love him, I'm not going to be cursing my children. Because I got to love who? Love him. When you love him, that covers everything. Just those two. Love God and love thy neighbor. Cover everything you need to know. If you do that, that's a big thing. That's the if in there. So don't you right there. The 5 things he told us to do. He said, fear him, walk in his ways, love him, serve him, and obey him. Look at what it said. I like that. Everything is about who? Him. A-I-M. Him. Not about who? Me. You know, we're in a world that everything got to be about who? Me. But what to say right here, Moses told him, it's not about you. It's all about who? Him. Everything we do, we need to remember who? Him. I like it, him now. And who is him? Him is God. So whenever I pray, I need to remember who? Him. What did him die? Him died for us. How will you know? Because John 3:16. Please preach. Who is that? He's talking about him. He's talking about him. He's not talking about me. He's talking about him preaching like it. I like it. So when you remember that and keep all them him together, then know it's not about you, but it's about him, then you got to make. That's what I remember. It's about him. Who woke me up this morning? Him. Who started my day? Him. Who allowed me to come in church? Him. Who allowed you to sit down? Him. Who allowed you to get up? So who am I talking about? That's all I got to say about that. Let's go. Next one. All right. Anybody else have anything about that? I like that. All right. It says, what do you think? It is a lack of total commitment to God because of the failure to advocate for justice. Do we have a total communication to God? Do we really commit ourselves totally to God? When you commit yourself totally to God, you're going to think about what we just said. We're going to think about him. You need to ask yourself, would him do this here? Would him cuss me out? Would him steal? Would him break in my house? So when you talk about total commitment, you're going to total commitment to who? Him. Think about what him would do. When you think about him and think about myself, is it wrong for me not to do this here? Think about him. You know, let's put something like person. When you go to work in the morning, somebody said, you're supposed to work 8 hours. You only work 5 hours. Would him do that? Him wouldn't do that. Think about what him would do. It says that you committed to work how many hours? 8 hours. So how many hours should you work? 8 hours. But how many hours do you work? We work 4 and high. If we could. Yeah. That's what some of us would do. We would do that. But then when you think about what him said you make this commitment to work 8 hours. So you need to work how many? 8 hours. But we want that. We don't want to do that. I see some head shaking, so that must be all right. So what we got to do is commit ourselves to be just like Christ. What do we say? We as Christians, it means us to be with Christ-like. Christ-like. That means I would do the thing that Christ would do. That's what Christ-like means. So if you think about what him would do, that may change our life. Now we got to think about him. If him would do this him, I like it him because him really, it tells about not me, but it tells about him. Now, with that said, we get to the last part. So we had the 3 calls. Now here's the last one. The former call to come fulfill. Now, these are the things that said to come to fulfill. You already know these things. So I'm not telling you anything different, Moses told. So I'm telling you things that you already know, but your obligation is to follow what you already know. Remember when you made that commitment to Christ, that these are the things that I'm going to do. That's what you said, I'm going to do it. That's your commitment. And we say a commitment is nothing but a promise. This is a promise that you made to God. That God, if you get us to the promised land, I'm going to do what you say do. We have made it through the promised land. And look what we do. The same thing. Our forefathers, grandfathers, all them suffered for us to get to be where we are now. Do you know that? Because back in the day, we didn't have these kind of churches. What did we have? The preacher always said, we had the churches where you got to let the window, the mosquitoes come in, sit down, you had your fan in the window. But look where we are now. All we got to do is close the door, push the button, and there come the air. So they made a commitment for us to get where we are, and we don't appreciate it. So here we are right now. These are the things that you already know. I'm just going to kind of give it to you the last go round. So when you get there, this is what you need to do. And Rita, what do we need to do? Moses told them.
And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day.
Look what happened. Moses got his committed together. And he told them, these are the things I want you to do. When you get there, Moses had a commitment. And letting people know this is what you need to do when you get there. He's talking about this new generation because the old generation had got wiped out. So now he said, these are the things I want you to do. And the commandment says, read it, go ahead and do 2 and 3.
And it shall be on the day when ye shall pass over Jordan into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, that thou shalt set thee up great stones and plaster them with plaster. And thou shalt write upon them all the words of this law when thou art passed over, that thou mayest go in unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, a land that floweth with milk and honey, as the Lord God of thy fathers had promised thee.
The first thing I want you to do, once you get there, it says, when you cross over this river Jordan, if you remember, same thing happened on the river Jordan that happened when Moses did it. What happened? When Moses parted the Red Sea, the river Jordan parted too. So when you get there, these are the things I want you to do. The first thing you do when you get there, I don't want you to eat. I don't want you to sleep. What I want you to do, he said, I want you to build the altar. When you build the altar, I want you to put some plaster on that place. When it said that word right there, that's just lime that you make it real smooth, just like a wall like that. You smooth it out. Why I want you to smooth it out? Because I'm going to give you the laws again. Now, when I give you these laws, I want you to take these laws and what it said in your heart. So this is what you need to do once you get there. I don't want you to sleep. I don't want you to do, he said, Deacon said, don't forget. I don't want you to do nothing but do what I tell you. Build an altar. And you know, in this part here, he even told you how to build an altar. God told him, you know, when he told Noah how he built it, he told him how to do something. When he told him how to build that tabernacle, he gave him the dimension to do it. I like how God does things. He gives you the what? Instruction. All you got to do is follow God's instruction. He told us like that there. Once you get to that land. Now, that's the same land he promised Abraham, the same land he promised Joshua. And the good thing about that land, it's going to be formed with what? Milk and honey. But that's something you got to do. In order to get there, you just not gonna walk in there and get there. It's something you got to do. Rita, what the next one tell us?
Therefore it shall be, when ye be gone over Jordan, that ye shall set up these stones which I command you this day in Mount Ebal, and thou shalt plaster them with plaster. And there shalt thou build an altar unto the Lord thy God, an altar of stones. Thou shalt not lift up any iron tool upon them.
Look what it tells you. When you get there, I want you to take these stones. And when you get these stones, I want you to plaster them. You just say that, cover them so you understand. But here's the catcher. I don't want you to do nothing to it. What I want to do is take these boulders and just set them in place. Once you set them in place, I want you to put that plaster on. I don't want no iron. I don't want you to try to reshape nothing. Because he said, if you reshape it, people going to say, man, look how the architect did it. But I want to happen. I want you just put together just like it is. Put it there and put some plaster and hold it right there. That line, that was that line between it. Put it right there so everybody can see how God did it. You remember he told them when he built the altar, he told them, take those bowls and build the altar. Isn't that something? I don't want you to put nothing in it. I just want you to take what God did. Who built the rock? Who made the rock? God. So what he tell you, I want you to take the rocks that I made and put them in place and build this thing here. Don't you do nothing on your own, because I don't want you to get no credit. Who gonna give the credit? God give the credit. If you do it and shape it up, you're gonna say, didn't that man give a good design, beautiful design? God said, take what I got and put it together. That's all he wants us to do. And then he said that there, Rita, give us 7, 8.
6, 7. 6 and
6. Come on, read.
Thou shalt build the altar of the Lord thy God of whole stones, and thou shalt offer burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord thy God. And thou shalt offer peace offerings, and shalt eat there, and rejoice before the Lord thy God. And thou shalt write upon the stones all the words of this law very plainly.
I like that. Look what he tells him. He wanted you to take that whole stone, just like he got it, he said, and did a burnt offering. You know, everything God, he wants you to give him a burnt offering there. He wants to make a sacrifice. Give him a burnt offering once you do this here. You got to build it. Now I want you to give me a burnt offering on that. Not only do I want you to give me a burnt offering, I want you to sit down. Now is the time that you can eat it. First thing, I don't want you to eat. I want you to get there and do some work. Now is the time for you to eat. But what came to my mind when it says rejoice? Do you know, if we think about Moses and think about some more people, first think about Moses. Moses' intention was to get to the promised land. But who kept Moses from getting to the promised land? People. Do you see how people can stop your blessing? That's the joy right there. Then I looked about and said, you know something. I kept on thinking about Moses going to get to the promised land because of people. So then I thought about Aaron. What did Aaron do? He didn't get to the promised land because of who? People. What he did, he built a camp. Remember? Got all the gold and built the sand. He didn't get to the promised land. I said, you know that's something. He was supposed to get there, but he didn't get there on account of people. So then it says, I looked at another one and said, that's something about David. Think about David. David did something that stopped the word. I said the word joy. You know how people can stop your joy? You know somehow people can take your joy from you? Moses' joy was taken away. He didn't get to the promised land. Joshua's joy was taken away. He didn't get to the promised land. And look here. David, same thing. What happened to David? David went to the wrong bar. Samson, not David. Samson went to the wrong bar. Who did Samson go to? Delilah. She was the wrong bar. What was his joy? His hand. Isn't that something how people can take the joy from you? That's bad, how people can do things for you. And then we thought about David. David's joy was that the firstborn child of the sheep. What did God do? He took that child from him. Isn't that something? So what happened there? People can take your joy from you. The joy that you got, that God gave to nobody but you, but people can take it from you. Look what it says right there. When you get there, I want you to celebrate. Here's the celebration once they got there. And then the next verse, reader, do the last two.
And Moses and the priests, the Levites, spake unto all Israel, saying, take heed and hearken, O Israel, this day thou art become the people of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt therefore obey the voice of the Lord thy God, and do his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Once you do all that, then you become out. You are God's people, he told them. But you got to do all the things I just told you to do. You got to, first thing, you got to obey God. When you obey God and hear the voice of the Lord, God, his voice, all about obeying him, and then all these things that you got to, it's just not something that I'm going to walk in. This is something that said, I command you to do. So that means we got something to do as Christians. What do we have to do? We got to follow God's command. And Dickens said instruction. That's what we got to do. You're just not going to walk into heaven looking like you're looking. You got to do something down here to get up there. So that's something we got to do, a commitment that you got to do yourself. I like it, that's a commitment. Dickens said we got to work. You got to work until your days are done. I'm going to keep on working. I'm going to keep on running. You're going to get tired, but you still get up and keep on running. Because there's a marathon that we're running. We're not running a sprint. We're running a marathon. So that means I'm going to keep on running there. And once you do that, then you be looking for that crown to say, but you got to do that. And then there's a worst action. It says, come on.
our neighbor. She loved her neighbor. She made well. Older neighbor. She had not impact to them. They started speaking for no reason. And so she told me, she said, I called that and asked her, that I have not impact to you all. You know, I did y'all fire, you know, I'm sorry for what I done. But the other rules I done, I'm sorry about it. You know, and I was like, I don't have nothing to do. You know, say them there free. And she had come, like, and she had, I felt bad. You know, like, that's what it feels about, have nothing to do. She had nothing to do. She was out, she was good there after they come out. She took it out, girl, don't say them there free, I'll say them. Just stay away from her. That was not right. She meant well. She said, I have nothing back. I have offended you one way, you know. I'm sorry for that, but she knew it was a daughter that actually she took it out of her mom. That's stuff like that. That's wrong with you, man.
But see,
I told her, I said, too.
and the thing is, the first thing you're supposed to do, she did the first thing. She went to the neighbor and said, I'm sorry. But what do? We're going to ask God, God forgive you. He tell you to go where? Talk to the person there. You go down. And then the next step. But you said, I'm a Christian. I don't accept your apology. What you say now? I'm a Christian. I don't accept your apology. What kind of Christian are you? Are you following God's ways right there? That's not what it says right there. All right? That question we say is that. Now, it says, how can believers protect the concept of justice? How can we protect the concept of justice? To me, there's one word, being fair. Fairness is the concept of justice. Once you be fair, that's what justice is all about. Being fair to who? Everyone. There's no particular person. Again, when he died, he didn't die for no particular person. He died for all our sinners. Did he die for all the sinners? So that means that's protected justice right there. Now, with all that being said, anybody else have something else to say? And I don't know what you do. Okay. With all that been said, I think I got somebody gonna close this thing out with, because these people, they can take something from you, and this person gonna close it out for us. You know, I got somebody with gonna close this thing out. I believe they're gonna tell us what to do. I brought it with me. I want to come on. I refuse. I won't let nobody steal my joy. I refuse. I won't let nobody steal my joy. No, no, I refuse. I won't let nobody steal my joy. Say it again. I refuse. I won't let nobody steal my joy. When he went out on Calvary, that's the reason I refuse. Steal I refuse. Steal your praise. Yes, I can. It's joy that I have. Then give it to me. Jesus gave me his joy. When he And David had did that, and Solomon had did that,